Hi everyone, I'm Susan Mulvihill. For today's video, the topic is California quail. These are one of my favorite birds. Now for my June 28th garden column, I wrote about how we have been watching some of the birds raising their young families here in our garden. And I wrote a little bit about what we've done in our yard in order to make birds feel very welcome. But today I want to highlight California quail. They are such gorgeous birds, and they are so dedicated to their young. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about them first, show you a couple of things we need to do in our garden to keep them away from some of our crops. And then I wanted to share a slideshow of some of the photos I've taken of quail over the years. California quail are basically West Coast birds, and they were introduced into eastern Washington at one point. We have quite a few in our garden. Now they are mostly seed eaters, but they occasionally eat insects for a little extra protein. And they are on the ground most of the time. They nest on the ground in a little depression, usually in sort of a grassy area. And they watch over each other. The males go on sentry duty, usually from a high point in the garden, and they keep an eye out and they keep doing the all clear sound, which is kind of a oh! And then if there is something that is a problem, they'll send out an alarm call and everybody goes scurrying. Now they usually have 1 to 2 broods a year. Anywhere from 12 to 16 chicks. That is a big family. And we have a few families in our garden right now, and they are so adorable. Now let me show you in the garden a couple of things we have had to do to keep quail away from some of their favorite things to nibble on. Now as much as I love quail, I have to admit that we do have some problems with them in the garden, but they're pretty minimal. First of all, the lettuce patch is one of their favorite spots, and if we didn't cover it with bird netting, we wouldn't have any lettuce to harvest. And actually I did just harvest the bed, so the plants are looking a little spindly. But this is such a simple way to exclude them from the crop. We just put some hoops over the bed, put some bird netting over, which is very easy to find at garden centers and all over the place, and it just keeps them away. Now also, I have to say in their defense that the other little birds like to nibble on lettuce plants as well. So it's not just the quail. This is the other type of crop that quail seem to really like. They nibble on the leaves of our peas. These are shelling peas and they're growing really nicely, but we really had to protect them when they were small. So let me show you what we did. When we first planted our little pea seedlings, we knew they would eat them in nothing flat. And so what we did is we took a long, narrow piece of floating row cover and we close pinned it to these natural supports that we're using. They're just branches. And pinned it up to about this height so that they wouldn't even know there were pea plants in there. And that was all the way around the perimeter, and it worked great. Now at some point you really need to uncover the peas, and so then we put it down mostly on the ground around the plants. And then we have some what we call fake snakes, toy snakes, and put them on the ground. And you know, I think they've pretty much gotten used to them. They probably think they're more just garden decor or something. But I did those around the perimeter as well. And there's one more thing I wanted to show you that we did. Now this might look a little hokey, but we have some pinwheels, and when a breeze blows they spin, and that does seem to startle a quail. And the other thing I wanted to clarify is that on the floating row cover, once we took it down, we left it on the ground and kept it kind of loose and bunched up, and we felt that they wouldn't like to jump on here and stand on it. So that has also worked really well. It's just a little physical barrier, and they have not been bothering the plants whatsoever. Okay, now let's go to the slideshow. I hope you enjoyed the slideshow of these remarkable birds. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. I'll see you next week. Happy gardening!